Welcome to another episode of AVP. I'm Andrew from Pickle 361. Today we got a special guest here today with us. He's the founder of WPC and his name is Jan Papi. Jan, you want to say something to our audience here in Asia?
Yeah, I love Asia. I moved to Asia 4 years ago and here we are.
Okay, we're going to start off something very light here today. Before we go into the business sides of things about WPC and all that, just tell us a little bit about where you from and what did you do before WPC.
Yeah.
How is it like in your hometown before coming to Asia, settling in Asia, and a little bit of Asia as well?
Well, I'll start with the fact that I'm 64 years old. So if you really want to go deep, maybe we can just talk about my life. I was born in Europe, actually in former Czechoslovakia.
Okay.
That one divided into two countries, Slovakia and Czechia. And when the division happened, I moved to Canada. So 30 years I lived in Europe. Another 30 years I lived in North America between Canada and US. 10 years in Canada and 20 in US. And when I reached 60, I moved to Asia.
Okay.
So I don't know if that could be like 30 years in Europe, 30 in North America, and how many?
4, 5?
30 in Asia. That will be probably overstretching, but
another 100 years.
Yeah, no, not even 100. Yeah, I know. When we moved from Canada to US, we bought a tennis shop in Naples, Florida, and we were running it for 20 years. But at a certain stage, maybe 11 years in our business, I was kind of introduced to pickleball. We moved our store to a new location.
That was 2000.
Gee, now you're tough on me. Sincerely, around 2012 maybe or something. Yeah. I would have to go to my notes, but around that time, and we were relocating our store from one location to another, to a bigger one. And at the day of the opening, somebody from right across from the country club came and said, like, hey, would you like to carry pickleball paddles? They said, like, never heard about it. So I kind of said yes, and I didn't do anything. And then he came after maybe 2 weeks after and said, like, hey, did you buy the paddles? And I said, like, okay, now I know that you're serious. So the fact was that we never looked back. And the first 4 or 5 years, pickleball at that time in US, USTA, which was a tennis association, they hated pickleball. So those were, from the business point of view of a retailer, those were our best years because we were probably the only store in South Florida. So people were coming to us from Miami on Saturday, and just to pick the paddle,
Okay, all right.
So eventually we added pickleball court, which was the first indoor pickleball court connected with the pickleball shop. So, and then with the pickleball court, we started to run some nice events, mostly like team events. We ran Pickleball Global Challenge Cup, which was the first.
So that sounds like whatever you've been through, probably 10 to 15 years ago, around there. And it's happening in Asia right now, right?
Yes.
And then because I'm hearing what you're saying, and then it almost sounds like it's magical. Whatever you said that happens, 10, 15 years ago, it's actually what I've been seeing right now in Asia and this part of the world.
So kind of a breaking point was COVID, when we were very active doing a lot of things in America and Florida.
Okay.
But then the COVID hit and everything stopped. And then I realized, when you have not much space for activities, sometimes you start thinking, and at that time I realized like the future of pickleball was going to be in Asia.
I see.
As soon as COVID basically, or not completely, but some countries released the conditions like Phuket Sandbox. I don't know if you remember that in 2022. So we have used that opportunity right away and came up with Asia Pickleball Open, which was the first ever international tournament in
Where was it again?
Phuket. Sandbox, Thailand. That was the first island which was open after or actually during COVID.
Okay, all right. the business, WPC, of course, everybody knows it for World Pickleball Championships, global right now. And when you first started, where did it begin?
Yeah, good questions. It's basically we're
How
hoping.
did it start?
Yeah, we hop between the continents, but somewhere in 2017,
Okay.
still back in Florida. I just because my kids were tennis players and junior tennis players, and a little bit also on a professional side.
Do they hate pickleball? Converted them?
Not really. Some of them, the older one didn't convert, the younger one did.
The
Like
embrace.
my daughter Vivian David, you know, she was on the tour, or actually she's still. But back in 2017, us having little experience from, let's say, junior tennis, everything was having rankings, right? Pickleball didn't. And I talked to USAP at that time, or even to pickleballtournaments.com, and said like, hey, we need to have ranking. And they said, no, pickleball is different. We will never have a ranking. So like, okay, maybe you're not right. So we basically selected maybe 9 or 10 tournaments, which were already currently at that time running in the US. I reached out to Ben Jones, Matt Wright, Tyson McGuffin, and I said like, hey, you guys, or Kyle Yates actually, hey guys, which tournaments are you visiting the most? So I got the list of maybe 8, 9 tournaments. So I said, okay, so this will be the first ever pro tour, and we are going to create the ranking points, and basically we'll do the ranking for you. So at the end of the year, we had a nice ladder ranking basically. So we thought like, okay, what are we going to do now next? Well, maybe we should have a finals of the year. All right, that's great. So how are we going to call it? Well, we have the best players in the world living in America at this time, so why don't we call it World Pickleball Championship? Now the prize money, like I was thinking about maybe 65,000, and somebody came to me and said like, why don't you do 6 figures, 100,000? I said like, that's too much. But we did it. So we were basically the first ones in the long history forever in pickleball. We did $200,000 tournaments in 2019 and 20 before anybody else. So that was the origin of the World Pickleball Championship. We had the best players ranked, and then we invited them for the one last tournament.
I see. I saw that back in a couple of days back, the announcement of WPC on national ranking and rating. You signed an MOU with Malaysia Pickleball Association. So we are also the official media and also PR partners to NTA as well, in short. So in our MOU, part of it is on the promotion of national ranking and also rating for Malaysians. And now that I know that
so we are partners now.
We are partners now. We'll talk more about this because where we are coming from here is that that this is top priorities that everybody is talking about, national levels agenda, so that we can identify number 1 to 100 and in singles, doubles, men, women, and all that stuff, including the children, juniors programs, very important. So. So when we come in to talk about this is one of the items in my top list to deliver that, and then it's a matter of, because I do not know how, but now we have you as part of the promotions of this and also implementer of it. So how do you think that we are able to do this in this, with your experience from Malaysia? What is your plan, and then how do we do that? And maybe you can share a little bit about it.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I would like to thank you for this question, but also MPA the Lima, and I actually started talking about this with Farrell 1 year ago, and it took 1 year between all people who were
it takes some time.
So it was maybe a little coincidence, you know, here, but we just maybe a little pushed a little more, but it's a good thing. So I didn't feel bad pushing finally after 1 year. Sometimes you need to have a gentle last push, but I'm excited and they are excited because
we are excited about it as well.
It's awesome because like what we are bringing to Malaysia is not only national ranking, but that national ranking is part of international ranking. It's Asia, but we have also countries in Europe and in Australia. I mean Australia itself. So it's really, if you know what. Like,
so you have done that in those countries already?
Yeah.
Before bringing it to Malaysia?
Yes. So our ranking has thousands of players. But obviously, the ranking is mostly based on international tournaments. We do have very good backup in let's say, India, Indonesia, Thailand, and Philippines, etc. But this is kind of a very nice and formal agreement where we basically are talking face to face and say, okay, now you will have your own ranking, which will be part of the bigger ranking.
Okay.
But for Malaysia players, for MPA, this will help them to go in front of the government and say like, okay, Andrew is the best player.
Okay.
Right? And
I'm the best.
35 or what age, maybe?
43.
35. So I guess great. So, and then basically when I was talking to Farrell like maybe a year ago, he said, Jan, I'm not able to send Team Malaysia anywhere to the international events. And I asked, why so? Because our government,
we can't, because
I don't have a selection process.
Yes.
So I said like, well, you are my man, you know. So we talked, and so we basically are giving ranking options, not only 19 plus, but also 35 plus, 50 plus, and 60 plus.
Okay.
Because people who are 25, they think that that's it, you know, but then you turn 35 and you want to still compete, you know? And maybe you want to be
in that category right now.
Yeah, you are. I'm in the category 60 plus, you know, so you still have to wait. But the truth is, even in this tournament, you know, we have so many players in 35, 50, and 60. And they want to have their piece of the sport. It's not only supporting few pro players, as we call them, you know.
We were talking about that in my previous podcast. We were talking about this. Part of the reason why pickleball was so successful and tournament was filled with so many people and people are so excited about joining tournaments and all that is the ranking system.
Yeah.
That they are able to enjoy and that they are still. It feels almost like you're participating and then you are being rated, and at the same time it keeps the what do you call that, the engagement really strong, and then that gives a purpose to players like ourselves, 35, 50 above and all that, to be able to engage with the tournaments.
It's a continuity, you know. If you don't have any connection, I call it meaningful competition. People heard it from me maybe 100 times over these times. But meaningful means you come to the tournament in the weekend. And on Monday, normally you have nothing. When you play in a meaningful competition, you gather ranking points. And the continuity is for the whole year because ranking points expire in 12 months or 52 weeks. Okay. So it's also proactive compared to, let's say, rating. When the rating kind of stays there, you know, for maybe a longer time, ranking expires in 12 months. So ranking is basically your ratings, your skills in actions. Rating is your skills. Ranking is your skills in actions. Like Federer, you know, before he retired, his skills was very high still. But as he stopped playing tournaments, he was like 100 in the world. Finally, ATP at that time realized what a nonsense, so they took him off the ranking because his ranking was not 100, right? I mean, his level was not 100. So there's a difference between ranking. I feel ranking is very proactive because it needs you to go and go and go, because once you stop, you just disappear. Ranking also does not punish you. If you lose, your ranking doesn't go down. We know that there are rating systems where even in this tournament, you know, some players say like, I'm not going to play mixed doubles. Why so? Oh, I didn't have a good partner and my duper will go down. So we love duper, but I think this side effect is not good. It's not proactive. Okay. Because people should be, first of all, Yannick Sinner, when he won Wimbledon, and they asked him like, so what did you think, because he lost to Alcazar, whatever his name is, Alcaraz in the finals of French Open, and they asked him, so how did that loss impact you? And he said, it motivated me, and he got better prepared to Wimbledon. So if we are looking at the losses as a motivation. We learn from losses more than from wins. Then we cannot really look at ratings because rating punishes you for losses. Right. Ranking doesn't. So I'm so excited that ranking is very see-through. You know, there is no mathematical formula. You know, you win, you get the points, you lose. Nothing is happening with you. So, all right. So I think that this will be a very big breaking moment.
So that is the fundamental of how ranking, can I put it this way, the algorithm works? Or is...
Yeah, ranking is simple. You know, in our ranking, you get points for every win you do. Okay. And the points depend on what tier level you are playing. From 1, which is a local one, up to 5. Okay. This is a tier 4. So if you are in the tier 4 tournament, you get 4 times more points than in 1. Yeah. And then obviously we have rankings also based on skill levels. So skill level and tier level combined together will give you some points. Okay, cool. So everybody can follow it. It's very transparent, you know, and everybody is nobody's being punished. Okay.
My next question is that how do you plan to deploy this across the whole nation? You need to invite tournament organizers or players coming together. What are the key components?
That's a very good question, and we are actually talking to MPA about this, you know, and I really love the idea of MPA being the connection point. So obviously. Yeah. Because obviously our platform gets rankings right away. But there are some other platforms, and we don't want to fight with them. We want to include them. Yeah, so yeah, and if I will go to any other platform, I'm not going to mention the names and say like, hey, can you give me the results from your tournament? I would like to put it like that.
So the platforms that you're talking about are those tournament softwares?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and also organizers.
Yeah, so basically today there are 2 situations, you know. Tournament organizers are either using some platform or software, or they do it manually. So MPA, the governing body, is going to reach to those softwares and say, hey, there is a ranking, and if you are interested, we will give you some document you will just upload to our website. Okay. And that will become the ranking as a base for the rankings.
All right. Okay. So that's the part of pretty much about the ranking that I always wanted to know more about. And then we're going to have 2 more questions, and then this segment is pretty much where we are focusing on WPC. For the very first time, we have WPC in Malaysia. So this is happening between July as your first stop in Malaysia. I would like to know more a little bit about what is the role of WPC plays, and then in this part of Asia in terms of development of pickleball in general.
Well, I think that the whole region needs to have, again, meaningful competition. And we ran the first tournament, WPC, nearly 4 years ago. When
in Asia.
Asia.
Yeah, you guys are the first to come from
wherever.
And to Malaysia, and you have done it in India, Korea.
So
many other places. Phuket, the first one.
So we were Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, now Malaysia, Korea, Taiwan, China, and Thailand. I don't know. I mean, there is like 10 countries in Asia only, and then we have other countries in Europe as well. Don't need to talk now about, but I believe really like Asia will be, or is already becoming, the center. And what my message is to every Asian players is like, we really want to create Asia-centric competition. We don't want Asian players, sorry to say, going to America or going to Australia.
I can see that coming from you as well, because that is very objectively WPC is bringing to this kind of values to Asia.
Exactly. The people here are not less than in America or in Australia. You know, If I would even compare them, they deserve more because they are hard workers and the dedication is so much bigger. And the potential here is unmeasurable.
All right, all right. So you've been to a lot of countries right now. What do you see Malaysia has in terms of leading the pickleball front? I mean, as you know that in Southeast Asia, especially besides Vietnam, Malaysia is one of the also leading countries in terms of pickleball's promotions. So what do you see in Malaysia that you find interesting about in terms of pickleball development?
Well, there are a couple of things, and I can maybe answer your question really referring to those two countries which you mentioned, Vietnam and Malaysia. 2 years ago, there was nearly nothing in Vietnam.
Absolutely.
Then the bomb exploded, and everybody is in awe from Vietnam, in Vietnam, or from Vietnam. Malaysia is coming a little later, but there are major differences, and maybe this is not good to publicize it, but I will just still share it, language barrier.
Okay.
Vietnam, you have difficulties to talk to people. There is so many people who don't speak English. In Malaysia, 99% of people speak English. So communication is easy.
We speak probably more than 3, 4, 5, 6 languages.
I know.
I myself speak like about 6 languages.
Oh, here we go. So I speak only 2 or 3 or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's good enough.
Yeah. So that is a really good thing, because communication, open doors. Then also, like, let's say computer skills. It's like we came with our software, when we wanted players to register in Vietnam, people didn't know how to register. People here in Malaysia, they have no problems. They actually are advising us what to do better, which is really something special. Then there is a governing body here. Vietnam doesn't have it, so you can structure all the relationships, everything in a much more effective way.
So communication, streamlining those
partners. You can identify the partners. Vietnam not.
Okay.
So Vietnam is really like quite a bit of muscles, but really not well trained so far. So I love Vietnam. Understand me correctly,
we
but
love Vietnam as well.
But this is a major difference for me.
There's always, I believe that principally every country has got its strength and also shortcomings, and all that, where we learn from each other. Yeah. We look at the great side of things, and then we look back at ourselves, self-reflections, and we see that this is what we have done badly, and then maybe we can improve here where people that did it well on the other side. So there's so much learning.
Oh yeah,
of course, right? Okay, so Jan Papi, we are come to the end of this sessions when we love to hear what you want to say, what you want to see leading up to WPC in Malaysia and in Asia. In the next 3-6 month time, I think we won't talk about your 3 years, 5 years plan here. So in the near future, 3-6 months or year, and then what is your plan? And then what do you have to do with Asia?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know that there is some American tour trying to come to Asia, so that's some kind of a background where we now operate. I think that we are different. We are all inclusive. We love our best players, and as a matter of fact, all the players who played last weekend or whenever it was in Panas PPA, all of them, with maybe exception 1 or 2, were playing at WPC tournaments before. That just shows you that we basically were there at the beginning.
Your presence is here. You were here at the very beginning.
Yes. And even though some of them are restricted now to play at WPC because they signed a contract with PPA.
Unfortunately.
Hello PPA, bringing their American way of doing business to Asia. We are okay because our heart is much bigger. We love our best players, 19 plus, but we love the same way 35 years, 50 and 60. And we love also those intermediates and advanced, We don't consider them as those who play for the checks. You know, they get trophies, they get recognition. And I think that this kind of approach, especially in Asia, but I would even say in America, you know, it's just when you are appreciated, you know, you don't need to be the best player, right, in the world. But if I appreciate you, I think that the chances are that you come back again.
Sure.
And our system also, how we run the tournaments, you know, everything is scheduled. Like these 3 days, everybody know, oh, I play 4:20 in the afternoon. So they come here 3:30 maybe, warm up. 4:20, they go on the court. They know the opponent, they know the time, and they don't hang out at the venue for 1 hour. Sorry, for 1 day, for full day. So I think that the service we are offering to the players in Asia, they are used to it. For 4 years, they are used to certain quality, which we are treating them with. So I think that even though the American tour wants to come here, we feel quite good because we have many followers, and you know, there is so many players here. You know, so we are not afraid at all. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you treat your players with respect, maybe you lose something if they pay him $500,000, you know, but okay, that's a good chance for them also.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Jan Papi. And then good to have you today to come on our show. And we hope the best for everything that you're undertaking in the future. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. And I think that I saw your introduction or your presentation of MPA and you, that your MOU or your contract.
Yes.
And I'm following you also. I think on Facebook or wherever. It's great, you know. That also shows something. Maybe last word. You do everything so correctly. It's even not funny how correctly you're building the sport, but at the same time you're building media. You're building the whole coverage of what is happening. You know, that's fantastic. Everything goes hand by hand, and you probably are the leader in everything there. So
thank you so much.
Absolutely, and I mean it. I'm not now cheesy or sweet or very cheap, but I really mean it.
I'm honored to have heard it from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
It's not easy, and then it took us some time and to figure out what we need to do as we're doing it, and then we figure out new things to do.
It's really so refreshing, you know. So and you cover so many things, you know. Sometimes I think maybe you're covering too much. Just kidding. But you know, it's fresh. You know, you're producing fresh products, you know, and that's good.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time,
Thank
sir.
you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.